Good evening, everybody. This is Jamie with Warrior Spotlight, your host of the show, my husband, Billy, the co-host of the show, and our amazing gift.
Esteemed gift. I'm your gift. Yeah, you got.
Gotta have that word planned.
You got to get a better Santa. Yeah. That's the shit you get, man.
Our amazing guest tonight, Ken.
Is that what it said? Yeah, it looks like gift. It does. It's a writing thing.
Yeah, and everybody knows the stories are real, the emotions are raw, and the hearts are courageous here at Warrior Spotlight. We're going to go over a couple announcements, and then we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty with Ken. So we want to give a shout-out to our sponsor, Mary Beth. She's amazing. She is our primary mental health at our facility. She owns her own facility. It's called the Center for Healing Connections. Sorry, Mary Beth, I got that wrong. She is in Monroe, but she is an amazing person. She does so much with our veterans. And they absolutely love her. So thank you so much, Mary Beth, for sponsoring this. We appreciate that. Crazy thing. This is crazy, right? So I don't even know how we got this started, but somebody started collecting cans, right? And for us. I know. That's what I'm saying, right? You're already crazy. So they started collecting cans, and we had this amazing Cheryl and Bill. They are part of our team. And Bill collects these cans, right?
Oh, Michigan cans.
Yeah.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Well, basically any cans.
Yeah, and he'll take
Are you getting the money for them though?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So people, we put out like every weekend, hey, don't forget, when you're having your summer parties and all that, save your cans.
Wow.
And so we get messages all the time that say, hey, we have 3 bags of cans. You want them? You still doing it, right? And so we message Bill. He hops right over there, gets them done, and right now we're making $200 a week off of cans.
Dude.
Yeah, no kidding,
Really?
right? Yeah.
Say yes to Michigan. Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yes, and that is amazing that
Well,
he
it's
does that for us.
recycling. It's recycling too. But
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Is it by the pound or is it the
Well,
dime
these are
thing
Michigan
or
10
whatever?
centers that he's putting back, yeah? He's got multiple locations that he's hitting all over town.
You guys could be zillionaires.
Well, I think it's great. Like, we had a phone call yesterday, and somebody's like, are you guys still taking cans? We got about 10 big green garbage cans. I'm like, you're like Santa Claus. Yes, we are. Let me connect you to Bill.
Yeah.
And Santa Claus brought this gift too. So you're all set.
Yeah.
We're all tied in with Santa.
So
That is awesome, man. That
yes,
is
it is
simple and
and it gives Bill something to do. He's retired, and he's so happy doing it, right?
Good.
Really happy. So it gives him a purpose. So save your cans. Message us. We are more than happy. Bill is more than happy to come pick them up for you. So just putting a plug out for that. Want to give a shout out to our team. We have such an amazing team. God has blessed me with so many incredible people. Our events committee, Cheryl, and I know I'm going to forget a name off the top of my head, so I'm just going to say the events committee.
Right.
Because I don't want to leave anybody out.
It's like saying my sponsors.
Yeah, my
same thing,
sponsors.
yeah.
But you guys, we know I cannot do it without you. Kyle and Joel, Kyle's my right-hand woman, and Joel is my left-hand man.
He's the president.
Yeah, he's the president.
He's the president. And he the host of McConnell's Minute.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, very much so.
How long did that last?
But
It's
you
a
have
minute.
to see it. You have to see
It's
it.
good.
But I just really wanted to say thank you
He's a
to
history
all
buff.
that participate and have made Little Blessings grow. I cannot do it without you. And I know we have a very busy next couple months coming up in our big fundraiser. And so there's going to be a big push. So I just appreciate everything that you're doing. I want to talk about the VCC real quick. For those of you who don't know what the VCC is, it's the Veteran Community Coalition. It is an initiative that we started in the Bedford area that is Lucas County and Monroe County resources that are for veterans. We have VFWs, Legions, the Women Veteran Initiative, Habitat, so many entities, right? That's why I want to get that other entity. What is it called?
Veteran Services Commission?
Not the Veteran Service Commission.
Heroes in Action?
Yes, Heroes in Action's involved in this.
But yes to the Veteran Service Commission.
Well,
too,
yes,
'cause
to
they're
them.
real good
Yes,
at
to them as well. As many as want to be involved, for sure.
Absolutely, right, absolutely.
And so we had an amazing meeting on Saturday. We know this year we've overlapped in a lot of things. Like a lot of them want to have veteran on Veterans Day, this and that, right? So we're actually building a community calendar to be able to support one another's events next year.
Right.
Yeah, so it's moving full steam ahead.
Well, that helps too because you don't overlap stuff.
Yeah.
Right, anytime there's
It's like racetracks
coordination,
when they work together, racetracks or any of that,
Yeah.
it does.
We have a lieutenant colonel.
Repetitive, but still.
She was on the show. Her name is Jenna. She comes from the Women Veteran Initiative, and she was an IT when she was serving. And so she's like, I'll help any way I can. And so she's going to help put some streamlining communication stuff together for us. So it's amazing.
Awesome.
I just want to talk about that. And then I wanted to just quickly go over our fundraiser. We are August 28th. Mark your calendars, people. I want to start with giving a shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, we cannot do this fundraiser without the sponsors. Aggregate Industries, the Delventhal Company, Laurel's Princess Parties, Torn Veil, Vibrant Life, Senior Living, Absolute Memories Photography, Levin's Law, Duke Farm, Simply Sounds, JDRM Engineering. They've been amazing supporters with us the entire time. SSOE, Abe at Sunoco Gas Station and Temperance, and Emmanuel Baptist. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting us and what we're doing and coming alongside of us and being community partners. We want to tell you, you can get out there. We will put a link out there that you can go and get tickets. Until August 14th, they're $15. After August 14th, they are $20.
$1,000.
And
$1,000.
$1,000 after.
Oh, that's sponsorship levels.
Yeah.
But still.
Oh, okay.
The kids' tickets are $10 across the board, but they will give them a hot dog, drink, chips when they come in. The first half of the day is going to be more family geared, right? Laurel's Princess Parties. We're going to have the petting farm there for the kids, and then we're going to have live bands throughout the entire day. DJ. It's going to be an amazing event. Don't miss it. So, enough plug about us. Super excited to have the one and only Ken Leslie with us. Yay!
Ladies and gentlemen, this shows how desperate they are for entertainment and guests. I mean, this is, who's next week? How much lower can you go after?
No, that's not true.
Oh.
And to get you scheduled, you're a very busy man.
Oh, for you, anything, Mike. And now for you, this is
Yeah, absolutely,
the
man.
first time we met.
Sure.
So, we want to do a little background on you, a little background investigation if we can, right?
Got it.
Give us your history.
So I was born July 4th, 1957 at 7:37 a.m. in Toledo. And the hospital room was kind of Mercy, and it was
Mercy.
kind of blue when I came.
Yeah, they were.
Bright ass
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah,
I mean,
blue and
bright.
green. Blue and green, that ugly color.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I squirted out.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit too much.
No, if you know Ken, this is perfect. This
Like a
is
little
exactly
little lizard, probably.
It was.
I was told
Alien.
like a little lizard.
Right,
yeah.
alien.
I wouldn't expect anything
So,
less.
so I was a professional comedian for 8 years.
It sounds like he came feet first.
I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely do.
Yeah,
Incoming! Like the slides.
Yeah.
I'd always do the slides.
Well,
now.
no, that because usually when you come out feet first, you do your head
Okay,
first.
we're moving on.
That way the blood gets right to your brain quicker. When you come out feet first, it's a little slower to get there. So, hence
Anywho, go-
your humor. Yeah, but go ahead.
I don't think that was a compliment.
Oh, it was.
Okay.
It was.
Go ahead, Ken.
So, I'm at one point in my life, I was a homeless alcoholic and an addict. And
Damn, you went from the hospital room to a homeless addict.
Shit,
What
yeah,
happened in
man.
between there?
it was a long hurl.
Where'd you go to school?
Perrysburg.
Perrysburg.
Class of 75.
75. Oh, wow, okay. So Perrysburg and then
The world.
the world.
Yeah, I moved to Los Angeles when I was 18, but
Oh, really?
people don't really care about
Well, that's
that
what
kind of-
formed you to be who you are today.
It gives you a
some things
worldview.
definitely impacted you out there.
Yeah, it gives you a worldview.
What do you think
It does.
then that impacted you the most by moving there? Because that takes a lot of courage at 18. If you didn't, were you in the military?
No, I wasn't.
So at either if you join the military, it takes a lot of courage, or to leave home, and go to especially LA out west. So you went out west, which took a lot of balls just to up and go. So
Right.
what do you think just was one of the biggest things that impacted you out there?
How beautiful we have as a hometown and as an area. How beautiful Toledo really is. Out there, it's really glamorous, and I did a lot of that, the comedy stuff.
Right.
But the reality is, out there, it doesn't matter who you are. It's who you appear to be that counts.
Right.
And I went to there's a
lot of fake sense of
yeah,
Hollywood.
yeah.
It is.
And I went to a club with like a bunch of princes and those kinds of people. And some guy was a Saudi Arabian sheik, and Next day, he was bagging my groceries at Ralph's Meat, so apparently he wasn't really a sheik, and you know, so that kind of.
Oh, yeah.
But in Toledo, man, it's really real here. People are real. They love on each other. This is the most incredible community. I also lived in Kansas City when I was working for PBS, which stands for probably begging still.
Right.
Which is, which I'm allowed to say because I did it. But even in Kansas City, you know, it's a beautiful community too. It's really clean. But here in Toledo, in Northwest Ohio, it's more about a real thread of love. And a lot of times people come in and they say that it's hard to get into it. And I think that's why because the thread of love is so tight that sometimes we don't allow people in, don't allow new ideas. And people have that kind of difficulty. But this is the most incredible place. I mean, we're in a community that exports its compassion to the nation. You know, with Veterans Matter. The community supports Veterans Matter and all the work that we do. And we're now in 27 states. We're about to house our 5,000th veteran, which we wouldn't be able to do if we didn't have the support of the community and the nation.
So how did that get started? What?
It was an accident.
How long ago?
So 2012.
2012.
Yeah. I was an alcoholic addict, and then I became a comedian, and I was traveling around the country and making people laugh, and I started seeing more people becoming homeless. And because I had been there, when I read a statistic in Toledo that 60% of the homeless are families with children, something snapped. And I said, this is unconscionable. And I rallied up some people, and we started the Homeless Awareness Project Tent City in 1990. And as a result of that, I got sober, and then started finishing stuff and doing things relatively well. I started a business in 94, an executive search firm for the technology industry. Did that for 20 plus years. Was prosperous, did well at it, became a philanthropist, was able to fund a lot of the new programs here in Toledo. And then John Mellencamp came to our little tent city thing, and people are familiar with that story. But if you're not, both of you, if you're not, John was passing through on his way to his sold out show, and he stopped in. He and I bonded really well. He stayed over an hour. And he invited all of the people who were homeless at Tent City to the show that night. And 60 went. He made room for 60 people. One came back after and said, John talked to us on the stage. I guess I really do matter. And that's how OneMatters.org, the nonprofit, began in 2008. And then we got regional. We funded street papers in Toledo, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Toledo Streets. We started, funded, ran, and then spun that off as its own 501c3. Which is what we normally do with projects. And I envision that even Veterans Matter at a time will be spun off as its own 501c3 as well. But that's what that end did. And Veterans Matter started from a blitz that we do with the VA. Our little group goes with the VA to different cities and a couple states. And we go to the woods and abandoned buildings and look for veterans who are unhoused. And we're doing one here in Toledo. My friend Sean Dowling of the VA told me about a great program the VA had to house homeless veterans. I mean, bullshit. If it's so good, how come Freddie's not housed? And she said he didn't have a $600 deposit. And I said, well, what do you do when they don't have the deposit? She said, we take them around the churches and VFWs and help them beg for it. And that broke my heart, that veterans would have to be going through that. And I got pissed off again. So that night came up the idea, simple. Veterans Matter. We take our own, write the check straight to the landlord, 100% success rate. Every single dollar we deploy is going to result in another veteran housed every single time. And the veteran's going to be in long-term permanent housing with case management to make sure that they can help stay housed. All they needed was the deposit. And it was so simple. So the next morning I called Barb Pedu with ProMedica and said, Barb, I need $26,000. And this is why. And normally foundations take, as you know, a little while. In this case, 7 days later, Valentine's Day, 5:36 p.m., she called and said, here's your full funding. And 3 days after that, we housed our first veteran. So it was 11 days from idea to execution. And people go, well, how'd that happen? Just God.
Yeah.
You know, that's all. It's pretty simple.
You know.
It is.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm not that damn smart. Shit. So that's how it started. And then Dusty Hill, ZZ Top, asked me, I was doing some PSAs with him, and he asked me to expand to help his guys, he said, down in Houston. So I created an online system, created a group, went down there, and that group now has housed, they're about through 3 away from housing their 1,400th veteran in Houston alone. John Mellencamp did the same thing for Indiana, and then Mitch Album, Katy Perry, Kid Rock raised a bunch of money in Michigan, and the thing really started taking off. So that's how it began, that's how it went. And at the end of 2015, I closed my business to help house homeless veterans full-time.
It's good for you.
Wow.
That's it, man. So you guys, like for the rest of the time, you just go play cards or something.
No.
That's it.
That's it.
Just because you talk
done.
fast doesn't mean we don't
Yeah.
have questions.
Yeah.
I got ADD, yeah, a little bit. High HD, high def.
No.
High
no.
definition.
High definition. Don't believe it?
No, not at all.
I told somebody today I'm going to post it on my Facebook, but I never live in the now. I always live in the next.
Oh,
Because you're always thinking of what's the next step, what's the next
Right, sure.
item, and
right.
it's a character defect, I think now.
Well, that is the mindset of a veteran, too. They live in what's the next mission. Mission ready, mission ready, mission ready, right? And that's the sad transition of when they come out into this world, into the civilian piece, is that there's very little to help them in that transition of, okay, you don't always have to be mission ready now. What do I do now? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we see that too. And about a third of the veterans that we house are from some sort of domestic or financial crisis, mostly. And a middle third have issues that have escalated to a need. And the final third are people who are chronically homeless that have run so far so fast from the PTSD that they're at the dead end when they're on the streets. I mean, where do you go after you're homeless? And they talk about the 22, and these are some of the people that become that 22.
Sure.
Because when you lost all hope.
Right.
And what in partnership with the VA, what our donors are able to do is give them hope and give them a new life. Where, we housed one guy, and his only goal to get housed was to be reunited with his kids on holidays.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
So what is the sustainability rate for them for staying in that house? That's where the VA comes in and continues to pay for their housing? Okay.
Yeah, it's a HUD-VASH housing voucher. It stands for HUD is the VA supportive housing. So it's like a Section 8 just for veterans.
Okay.
So the VA are the ones that get all the credit. We don't really do anything. The VA finds the veterans, they help them find the place, they secure the housing voucher for them, and then when the veteran's ready to move in, they'll help them get the deposit. And we're privileged that when the VA has veterans who have nowhere else to go, those are the ones that we help. We're getting the ones that truly fall through the cracks that have nowhere else to go. And then we send the deposit straight to the landlord, and it eliminates that barrier. 95% of the veterans that we house don't even know it's us who house them.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like more like our donors are guardian angels
Right.
to the veterans. They just know that they were on their knees one day praying for a way to find it, and son of a gun, it's there.
I got you. So you don't necessarily are out looking for a veteran. Like if you see one that's on the street out here with the cardboard sign, homeless veteran,
Right,
you know,
right.
which there's 3 or 4 of them down Lexus Road every single day.
Yeah.
So right. So then how do they get connected? Is there any, I guess, how would they, if they are in fact are a veteran and are in need for that, how would they get hooked up with you?
So the
Is there a screening process?
yeah,
Obviously,
no,
you're saying
I
going
got
through
your
that.
answer. And
Yeah.
we're the systemic solution is they would want to call the VA has set up a hotline just for homeless veterans, and it's been really efficient, really effective. And what we'll do to veterans outside of the area is send them to that number. I'll give it to you in a minute. Locally in Toledo, they should call United Way 211, which is our center point of entry. And they'll get plugged into the VA programs and get qualified for that. I can tell you that half of the people that I've seen on the streets of Toledo with homeless veteran signs are neither homeless nor veterans.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And
I
then
was
the
going to ask you about that.
yeah, and then the other half that are, every community, including Toledo, has what we call the by name list. So we know the names of every single person who is unhoused veteran, and every week they're offered housing. So it's not like they're abandoned in any way. It's we continue to ask them, and they're not ready. And some people are like, oh yeah, they just want to stay there. That's not true. I don't believe anybody can be abandoned. I call them not yets. They're
Right.
not
Yeah.
yet ready. We had one guy, Garage Charlie, who we named him that because we found him in a garage. It took us 5 years to get the trust built to get him housed.
Yeah.
But during those 5 years, people are like, oh yeah, he wants to be there. No, he's mentally ill.
Right.
And nobody in the right mind wants
Right.
to be sleeping in a garage.
Right.
So if people say, well, they want to be there, the reality is, if they want to be there, then something's really wrong
Sure,
in how they're
because
processing
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
human beings, we wouldn't. We some people can't register that.
Right.
Whether it's with alcohol or drug addiction, it's similar to the same thing. Well, it's a choice. Well, or it's, all these other or disease or what. But when it comes to it, there's definitely, if he's not in his right mind, because he wasn't there all his life, like you said, whether.
And the PTSD or whatever he did or saw that affected him that he's running away from. Some people just separate their minds from that reality so they don't have to confront what.
Sure.
Because it was so heinous, so bad, so terrible that what they saw can't even be processed, and none of us could, right?
Sure.
So they're running away and they separate their minds and they end up completely disassociated, mentally ill,
and stuck.
Stuck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's where they need the hands, and some of them don't, and they're proud. We know that men are proud. Veterans are very proud. They don't want to ask for help.
Right.
Once they get to that point.
And that's very, very true as well. And we've got a lot of the different peer groups that work to help people move forward. And the reality, though, is the community does a really good job when there's something good to let each other know where things are. So, I have a buddy of mine that was homeless in Fort Wayne. He could tell who the homeless veterans were by the way they stood, the way they congregated. When they congregated, how did they position themselves in the congregation? So that awareness, they're able to find each other and work forward together. And we've seen that in several of the cities that we work in.
So how mad does it make you
That what?
that with the others that stand on the corner?
My job's not to convert the unconverted, it's to rally the converted. So the people that care, that we can rally forward, we work on. I have a policy. I never give anybody money. I mean, it's just not. It's not helpful for me, I believe. And people are called to do different things, and if somebody's called to give them $5 or something,
Sure.
if that's the worst thing that happens, I mean, that's okay. I mean, this isn't; these aren't crisis situations. But instead, we created the Toledo Streets program to be able to employ anybody. So what I'll do instead of I'll engage them and say, "Have you heard of Toledo Streets? It's a way that you can probably make more money doing exactly what you're doing, where you're doing it, but it's real work." And what happens is, when even from my experience when I was out there, when you're doing the things like that, panhandling, your esteem goes down, right? Because you're just you know better. You do know inside yourself.
Sure.
But when they're selling papers, every paper they sell, their esteem goes up because they're working for it. That's honest work, and so those people
I had a guy that worked for me for a while that was living in the trailer down there that we had at Brother Otis's property. He was building a church down off of Monroe, Bancroft in Detroit, right in behind the U-Haul. And he had come to him, so he was living in a trailer I let them use there, right? So I put him to work for a while, and and he had issues, but still, he worked his way through for a while, and then one day I never seen him, like a lot of them. They went on whatever it was, and so I go to look at a job by the courthouse, and he was out front selling papers. And buys them for $0.25. Now I don't know if it's your paper or what.
Yeah, that was it. Toledo Streets. Yeah.
And he was making he'd get however many papers he bought. He bought them paper, right?
For a quarter.
And, and sold and made $140 before 11, because he was from Oregon. Then he went back and did some other job, but he stood right, and his gig was right in front of the courthouse. He sold them all out right then.
That was Lawrence.
I think.
Did he have and
then I can't think of the other kid. Yes,
yeah,
and I can't think of the other guy's name.
So he made over $10,000 over 7 months doing that. He came, and he's a cool story too about how people turn their lives around and how happenstance happened. Amanda Moore, who was the founder of Toledo Streets, ran into him at Cherry Street's Eatery back when they had the old eatery.
Right.
And he had gotten out of prison for 26 years, and he applied to hundreds of jobs, got nothing, no response. So what he did was decided he was going to go back to the joint. You can't live out there. So Amanda talked him into trying the papers.
3 hots in a cot, right?
Yep.
That's what a lot of them do about the wintertime.
Yep. That's exactly it. And he could survive out there. So that was the only place he knew. So he ended up trying the papers. He sold them and kept selling them, and he made $10,000 in 7 months. He helped pay off his child support and the things that he was back on. He got other jobs as a result of people seeing him work, like you did. You noticed him there, and he's out.
Well, I had him before. I had him before that, but he was living in a trailer with, I can't think of another black guy. Both of them were living in there, and they packed it up during the day and whatever. And then I was like, well, you know what? Why don't you come work with me? for a while. So he came and stayed at the shop in a trailer
Right.
I had, which was better than that. But yeah, good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they all have stories.
You don't have to yell so
Oh.
loud.
We all do. We all have
Yeah,
a story.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I was born in Mercy Hospital back in.
Yeah, 57 in the blue walls, right? Yeah, it's come flying out, sliding into home
Yeah,
plate.
yeah.
No, yeah.
That's funny. So what is the ratio men to women? What's the
12% of the veterans that we're housing are female veterans, and there is a good share. I think it's 18% of their families, but 26% of the people that we house within those families are children. So a quarter of the people and these are children that are living in a car today, that are in the shelter, or even don't even have a car. That are sleeping literally in a tent or on the streets. I mean, these are. If you can imagine, and this is a true story about a mother who was in their car. Dad was up in the front seat. She had her 2 kids in the back seat in the coldest day of winter, and she was just doing everything she could just to hold them and shivering so the children stayed warm in the car. And we were able to get them into a hotel to be able to survive long enough to be able to get the housing. And when you think of that, it's really what bone-chilling cold is, and that's what they were experiencing.
Sure.
And so for us to have the privilege to be able to help them get the hotel and then get into long-term housing really is what Americans do. And that's how we are.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing.
it is.
So you also, let's talk about Tent City.
Tent City.
Tent City. Tell people what Tent City is.
So it started in 1990, and what it's evolved into is a Festival of Compassion, a weekend-long Festival of Compassion. It starts Friday and runs through Sunday. Friday night we have a wonderful dinner and entertainment all night. Saturday is the day of Real Connection. It's called Project Connect, and what we do is we connect all these services: haircuts, clothing, jobs, counseling, recovery, addiction, and then a full medical clinic for.
Is this for just any homeless person, or
Right.
is this
This
okay?
is, yeah, and what we do is we not only the unhoused but also the marginalized.
It's like a huge fair, or not a fair, but not a jobs fair, but
in a sense,
it's sort of.
Sure,
right?
why
I
not?
gotcha. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not only for the unhoused but also people who are marginally housed in the area
Sure.
who need it. Anybody that needs it, really.
Right. Less fortunate or whatever.
Or whatever, down in the luck.
Right.
Yeah. So we provide a lot of access. I mean, there's dental, hearing, vision, cardiologists, chiropractors, and on and on and on,
Sure.
all the way down the line. Any kind of vaccinations. This year we'll be doing testing, COVID testing, and COVID vaccinations available. And it's so beautiful because, as an example, ProMedica, Mercy, and UTMC all come together to manage
Right.
the clinic.
That's amazing.
So people competitors all over come
Sure.
together to be able to
to
do
give
this.
back,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is that's saying something in
It
itself.
really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
What a good cause it's for, and right. And
But
that's what
that's
it's about anyway.
Yeah, and that's how the community is. I think one of the proudest accomplishments was I think it was our first walk that all of the lead anchors in Toledo and all the lead radio people walked together arm in arm. And when you see Jerry and
Right.
Lee walking together, I mean, just as a good example.
Right.
Right.
And that's how this community is. That's the level of love this community has. And we always do come together when there's something.
Right. Yeah.
And I was able to go down there for an afternoon and see it, and oh my gosh, it's crazy because it has a total vibe for it. Like as soon as you walk into it, it is, you're just like awestruck that this is happening, right? These families sitting around, and you can see the smiles on their faces, and then you walk into the big tent, and that's right, there's like all these tables that they're getting these services at, and then the semi where they can come get their clothes at. Like it was amazing.
Music,
Yeah.
dancing, all kind of things.
Yes.
We our One Matters. We have a word that we have coined to concisely communicate our methods of delivery of service, and that word is fundatory.
Fundatory?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fun is mandatory.
Right. Right.
Because I mean, really, you see,
Fundatory.
yeah,
Fundatory. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Lewis come with ghetto fabulous. It used to work for me. Meaning it's a word he come up with, and I like how you say it. Well, fundatory. Yeah. I love it.
You smoked a lot of pot, didn't you?
I usually, but yeah. No, I'm on with you. Fundatory.
That's right.
Yeah, I like it.
And there are people actually, you've seen them where you poor pathetic homeless person.
Right.
Here's a sandwich, and we're like,
Right.
yo, stop!
Yeah, right.
Made it last night. Took a bite. It's good. Try it.
Yeah.
Where you're treated more of, you are treated as a human, and
Right,
as somebody
yeah.
that we automatically value and appreciate, and name one person that doesn't want to smile.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of a couple, and they're assholes, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all can, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, the kind that wins the lottery and then bitches about the taxes they have to pay.
Right.
That's so funny. And so you said you were in how many locations as far as
27 states now.
27 states. That's amazing. Is Ohio your biggest hub, if you will, of as far as housing?
Houston is.
Houston is?
Yeah. We're the ones that we've been the most active in, that which is Indiana, of course, and Michigan, Ohio. Go Ohio, go Buckeyes. Let me let East. Okay. So we don't. Yeah, Buckeyes. That's y'all. There's a cool event coming up in August
stop.
on August 28th.
That's not what we're talking about right now.
No, but still, it's a commercial. All right. So it's
Okay.
a commercial.
Yeah.
Commercial time.
Yeah. What the hell? You don't.
We'll have plenty of those.
Come to this.
So, you made me lose my train.
It's all right, man. Just run out of questions. I can just.
Oh no, I'm not out of question.
We can play. We can play here.
Tic tac toe.
That's what I'm thinking.
This is what's happening. Okay. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. So tell me what you do as far as fundraisers. What? That stuff smells amazing. It's lemon.
Oh yeah.
I know. It smells good. What do you do for fundraisers? Or how do you fund your program?
It's amazing how people really rally up across all these different platforms, and we've got 6 or 7 different revenue streams or groups or organizations that support the work that we do, and each of them are unique and different. Whether the music industry has one set of campaigns along with the radio national radio campaign. Ask me about that later. I'll tell you about that. That's pretty cool. But that and the corporations, we have one corporation, First Nation group, has been our largest funder, but they've been the national model. They went to one of their largest suppliers and said, listen, we're going to buy all this from you. Would you mind rebating 1% back to Veterans Matter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of creative
Right.
thinking. National Exchange Club, we have a national partnership with them. They help raise funds in a lot of the different cities across the nation. Here in Toledo, one of the companies, 1-800 Sweeper, which is like a co-op for all the big ass sweepers. And I mean the parking lot size.
Mm-hmm.
Not the guys that run around.
Right.
What are those things that never die? What are they called? The door to door when they sell.
Oh yeah, the Kirby.
Kirby. Yeah. Shit, my mom still has one from
Sure.
1922, I think.
Yeah.
But they did a campaign with all of their co-ops last year, and they raised over $100,000 on the first year.
Wow.
And what's so cool is, Fiat Chrysler Foundation. We don't do a lot of foundations, but they called and said, hey, can we help you house homeless veterans? And they
You're like, no. Mm-mm.
oh no, they've
Yeah.
they've housed a couple hundred now,
That's
and
amazing.
they not in Detroit, Toledo, and then they opened up Illinois.
Wow.
Which is in the Rockford area where they've got a plant in that region. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so people are just rallying up from a lot of the different aspects, and the individual donors stand up.
Wow.
Facebook fundraisers. Have you ever
Oh.
gone on Facebook?
Those are great.
Aren't they?
I
They
mean,
really
because
are.
nobody, like, PayPal taps into your funds, right? Facebook, you get all the funds,
Yep.
which is amazing.
Yep, absolutely, and it's pretty efficient and pretty easy. You can create your own fundraiser on there, or just have a birthday fundraiser, or do
Yep.
whatever you want. And it is because what we view our job is just to tell people what we're doing, so those who feel called can come. There's a lot of really good causes out there.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
and there's we're not trying to recruit anybody for any of them. You know,
Yeah.
there are people called to equine therapy.
Sure.
You know, that feel in their heart, that's it. And,
Yeah.
and everybody's, what I tell, when I give my talks, what I tell people is if you want to find out what you're called to do, find out what pisses you off the most. What injustice pisses you off.
Right.
And that's usually where you're called to respond. And we're finding that our mission to just give people the opportunity then identifies and rallies up the people, and they get involved in any way that they want. I mean, a lot of the ideas that we have are created by people on the ground floor. Our national honor-thons, we have a national radio campaign that we do with Cumulus and other stations across nationwide. Called Cardboard to Headboard.
Yes.
And we you know, they run the PSAs, and we end that on Veterans Day. Well, Denny Schaefer here in Toledo is a longtime friend of mine, and one of his listeners called in 3 weeks before Veterans Day. Calls in and says, "Hey, why don't you guys mention the names of the donors on the air on Veterans Day?" And that's a really cool idea, right? So we created an online system. Said, what the hell? Why not? And so we set up a system that allows them to text the station's text line, go donate, and an email goes to the jock telling them who just donated, in whose name, et cetera, et cetera. And we tested it that last year in Toledo, several stations here, Detroit, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Austin, and one other. I can't remember.
Wow.
And it went really well. So this year we're doing a full-fledged honor-thon, and we'll be at least 28 stations nationwide.
Amazing.
But it goes back to the point of Toledo exporting its compassion in the nation. Toledo's coming up with these Cumulus. Toledo has been such a powerful supporter of what we do here in helping to build what is becoming the national radio campaign.
The model.
Yeah.
If you will, right.
Yeah, and it's pretty beautiful how this community is.
Did you say you're in Michigan too? You're doing stuff in Michigan?
Oh yeah, we hold. I think we housed. Depending on the audience, I'll call it either the schload or shitload, depending on. Yeah, I can get you that. On our website, what's so cool is we have the ultimate in transparency. Every single day, we update how many veterans we've housed and where.
Oh, wow.
So people can see that in real time, where their donation went, what they actually did.
And your links are on this site already. So
Oh, okay.
as soon as it goes live, they'll have access to all of your links. Yeah, so you can't see it right this second, but
No,
it's in the stream.
where
What?
somebody wants to clothing and hygiene items.
Oh,
So hi, Kim. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll send people with those kinds of items to the Toledo Gospel Rescue Mission, which has a really good mission mall. And that is where we go whenever we need something for the veterans, and they're able to help us do that. So we'll send them there to be able to donate or give whatever they want, knowing that that's the home that the veterans go to when they're in need.
that's a great question, Kim. Kim is like a huge supporter, and she is at a VFW auxiliary, and so they've done fundraisers for us, and she's
Which
amazing. She is at, I believe, the one on Alexis Road, 2898. Sorry if I got it wrong, Kim, but yeah. So she's a huge supporter. So.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah, they're always looking to see how they can help.
Yeah,
Wherever.
isn't that true?
Yeah.
How it is?
Yeah.
People that we get to work with have the hearts and just want to help, and that's
Yeah.
the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's why we bonded. We just want
Yeah.
to get shit done.
Yes, exactly. And it's not about us, it's about the veterans that we're serving, right? Okay, so you totally left out like this major event coming up.
Oh, the disco party. Yeah. That's coming up a couple weeks. That's sold out. All the tables and tickets are all gone. It's our 5th annual down in Hensville, and it's a great event. It's you're coming.
I am?
Yeah. You can even bring it up.
Maybe.
So yeah, and it's just a party night. You know, realistically, a lot of the people that come to parties like that, they really don't know nor do they really care about the nonprofit. You know, they're just there to drink and dance and party. And what happens is we still, as a result of Denny's hard work, are able to expose them to what we're doing. So those again that feel called can come. You know, when they're sober.
Yeah.
But it's a great party. It's one of the best parties in Toledo in the summer. It's like, the Zoo-Doo is another huge one that's always a blast, and this one, it's Toledo's.
So how did this one get started?
Oh, so
The disco party.
yeah. Well, Denny and I go way back, and way back, and back before we became good guys. We used to party a little bit and stuff.
You're bad guys.
Yeah, and Denny actually. Well, yeah, there are times we got
That's
in
okay.
trouble. Yeah, but so the Denny started the original disco parties here in Toledo at Centennial Hall, and he did them for a bunch of years. Then he moved to Atlanta, and another group had taken him over, and we're doing it. And he and I was always saying, well, we should probably do something sometime. And finally he said, yeah, let's do disco parties for Veterans Matter. Yeah, good idea. And so we did our first one down in Ennsville, and it was a success. We did it in August. It was hotter than hell. And so we moved it to June, which then we had to move back to August this year because of that damn Pentic that came around. And now it's again in August, and about 2,500 people come down and just really, really let loose and enjoy wonderful music, wonderful friendships, wonderful community.
Yeah, I have veteran friends that every year I see their pictures posted.
Yeah.
That they're always there. So
Yeah, and there's for the people that buy gold tables, it's really cool. So some veterans chipped in to buy the bottle of champagne for the gold tables because you have to. It's more expensive to have a gold table, a heroes table. A heroes table. So the veterans kicked in to buy them a bottle of champagne to thank them for putting in the extra money to house another veteran.
Oh, nice!
Isn't that cool?
Yes. Yeah, and aren't veterans so giving too?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
a community, it's a partnership.
They are the first ones to come to the table.
Mm-hmm.
If you need anything, like we have this one veteran who she's been part of the farm now for about 4 or 5 years, right? And she is just incredible, right? And I've watched her develop, and she's a single mom. And the other day she's out there. We have a rider, and now to cut the grass. Now somebody donated that. Thank you very much. But she's out there with a push mower. She's just like
getting their steps
getting it
in.
done.
Yeah.
She's like, I've seen that, but I'm gonna do this.
Right.
And, her garden box is beautiful, and it's just it's amazing. And she's always the first to I'll help. What can I do? And I'll work this shift. And
But it goes back to the fact that you created something that gives them the opportunity. If you didn't give them the opportunity, they wouldn't be able to fulfill whatever that life mission is. There's so many good groups that do exactly that, in giving people that opportunity to move forward.
Yeah.
And that I can name a dozen different veterans groups in town that really do great work. And that, again, it goes back to the community. And what you're doing is giving them an opportunity.
so I can't remember the name of the church, but we were at another event together where myself and some veterans went and participated in making these blankets.
Yeah. Epworth.
Yes.
Epworth Church.
Yeah.
They're an incredible church.
Tell us about those blankets.
So they these what they Girl Scouts or something? Or,
Yeah, Girl Scouts.
Yeah. So they made those tie blankets, and they wanted them to go to the people that could use them. So we were able to distribute them to Commons and Garden Lake, which is a facility in Toledo where a lot of people which houses the veterans that were formerly homeless. 75 units. It got started because Marcy Captor, thought this is something that we need, and took several years. Lee Armstrong, Veteran Services Commission, all these others helped build this out. Jason Brown, and it's turned into a showcase in Toledo for people that want to connect. And we were there the other day for an event. And it's just really cool, and it's really touching because you do what you do, and you don't even know if you have any effect. I don't know if I had any impact on anybody ever, really. You don't.
Right.
And this one guy came up to me at the Commons and said, "We know what you do, and every one of us thank you."
Oh,
I'm like,
I've been watching it.
yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things where that was really, really fulfilling and meaningful because we don't do what we do for any kind of row.
Yeah.
Well, it is nice to hear it too, because like you said, you hope somebody appreciates it.
Yeah, you hope so.
Sometimes it isn't always said, but When they come back and it comes around to you, it really is.
And nor does it have to.
And you're not doing it for that.
Right,
It's
right.
like, walking the old lady across the street, just God watching, or giving money to these, like you were saying earlier, it's not about that. But when it comes back to you, it is very rewarding.
Yeah, within our One Matters family, one of our posts of compassion are, when you feel you matter to no one, just go matter to someone.
Oh, I like it.
And
You have
that's
that on a shirt? You need it on a shirt.
okay. Well,
Heck yeah, that is great.
but it's on our website, and it's
Yeah.
one of the mantras that we promote. But whenever I'm giving talks across the country, it makes people realize there's a lot of people in pain anyway, and they're thinking of suicide, or they're just to that level of unhappiness. And I discovered it in Kansas City when I was an addict and alcoholic, and I had gotten so disgusted with what I'd become, and I felt trapped there because addiction is like gravity; it just holds you down. It was terrible. So I decided I was going to kill myself, and I'm a narcissist and a hedonist, so I wanted to find a way to do it that wasn't that painful, and yet left a beautiful corpse, right? So I'm actually doing this. I swear, I'm doing this analysis to try to figure out what's going to meet my needs the most effectively. And the next thing you know, I had a blackout, and I came to, and I was in an old age home talking to old people. And I don't know why. I mean, I shouldn't have had a blackout. I wasn't drinking or drugging at all. But I was there just talking to people for no reason. And when I walked out, I realized that was the secret of life, which is when you feel you matter to no one, just go matter to someone. And particularly, in the schools, when I give the talks in the schools, always there's kids that come up afterwards and said, "Thank you, I'm going through that pain," or "I have a friend that is, and we're going to take him or her out and help them mow the widow next door's yard," or whatever that is. And that kind of effectiveness helps turn pretty much anything around.
Yeah. We've been so blessed with a couple of those stories, and when I started this, my vision was to just make a difference in one person's life, right? And we have this lots of incredible veterans, but we have this veteran, his name is Dan, and he was exposed to the burn pits. So he lives in a wheelchair on oxygen, right? And I met him on social media. I didn't know who he was, but he was posting all of these things that were not going to end well, right? And so I just happened to reach out to him and said, "Hey, you like animals?" Right? And then I started sending pictures of the farm, right? And so he would start coming, because he could only come in the evenings when it was cooler and stuff like that. And him and his fiance are getting married at the farm.
Oh, how cool
on
is
9/11.
that? Oh, is that beautiful?
No, yes. And so instead of wedding gifts, they've asked that the donations go to us, which is like mind-blowing.
beautiful.
I know.
That's
And
beautiful.
It is just like, I just got goosebumps. And they are so incredible, but he is so full of life now. And it is just like, somebody just needed to reach out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
give them the opportunity.
Yeah,
That is a good thing with
God said,
social
"Here you
media now,
go,"
too. It does help a lot with that.
it does.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
mean,
people,
look at both of the people watching us.
Yeah. There
You
are
say
regions.
that, but let me tell you. So we get between 2,000 and 5,000 viewers once this is shared. So we don't have a lot of live viewers.
Oh, I know. I'm kidding. I
but-
mean, just
But there's 3, so now you left out the person.
Oh, man. Well, there was 6 likes. Yeah.
Son of a-
Shame on you.
well, then us 3. So that's
One
that
matters.
just
That
doubled
one
it.
matters,
doesn't
man.
Yeah.
That one matters. That third person. There was 6 there for. We had a good push there. 7. Once they tune in, then they like, what's the
You know,
time? Then
there's
they
that
tune
guy
out.
with the
Yeah.
hat again. Shit. And
Yeah.
we're out. Checking out.
So is there anything that we left out that you would like to share about your organization, what you do, how people can help, how they can get involved, what do they need to do? Or what do you have to say?
So I don't have anything to say. I mean, we're just.
That's not true from
Thank
Ken
you.
Leslie.
Thank you
Right.
for having me. I have that to say.
Oh,
I
you're
really
very welcome.
appreciate
It's
that.
my pleasure.
If you feel called, if you're one of those feel called to help the veterans who are on the streets, get in touch with us. We'd love to have you rally up with us. It really is that easy. Everything we do is pretty simple because people have a tendency to make things complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a veteran can't find the deposit anywhere. They tell us, we send the deposit to the landlord. That's it. It's that simple. And that efficient. I mean, we were able to keep our admin rate down to 8% as a result of this level of speed and efficiency, where, it takes us 3 minutes to process
Right.
a referral. So we've got that scalability, and we're able to build out that way nationwide. So if they feel called and want to help that mission, I'm on Facebook somewhere. Veterans Matters on Facebook somewhere. Veterans
Those links
Matters
are on
the
there
internet.
too. Yep.
Instagram.
Oh, I will have to add your Instagram.
The gram. We're not on
Like-
the. Are you on the talk? We're not on the talk.
On
TikTok.
what?
TikTok.
No TikTok.
I can't.
I can't
dance.
even manage the stuff that I have. Kyle, she manages most of it because I just can't. I know there's the Snapchat and Twitter and
Well, some of them are just for shooting pictures
Yeah.
and stuff, but
no, I don't have time for that. Not at all. And Kyle now doesn't have time either, so we just got to get to business.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
So
That's got to do. So thank you again. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you,
nice
man.
meeting you too.
I had heard good
Thanks.
things about you
Yeah.
on the internet. So
thank you so much, Ken, Leslie, for being here. We truly appreciate what you do, and my heart goes out to you. for
And you
helping
as
the
well.
Oh,
veterans.
let's get a picture. Well,
Yeah,
click
we
up.
will definitely get a picture after we.
we can do it afterwards, unless you all want to be in the picture.
That would be awesome.
You'll see the picture
Okay.
later.
You guys-
Post your picture here, and then we'll take a picture with your picture here.
Screenshot us right now. Hurry up. Ready?
Screenshot
Screenshot.
us.
You,
Screenshot.
Somebody screenshot.
All right. Oh wait.
Nobody's screenshotting.
no, I
Oh,
haven't.
there are a bunch of people screenshotting. You didn't see it?
Oh, no, I didn't see him. Okay, you guys, have a good night. We will see you next week.
Peace out.
Bye.
I don't know why this thing moves.
We're still live.
Say
50
bye.
minutes and 50.